Hey everyone, I'm David Goldberg with Sarah McGoldrick, and welcome to another episode of Media Gold, a podcast by the Gold Clover Group. We're coming to you from inside lockdown in Toronto. The only difference is I can't get a haircut whenever I want to. Uh,
Lockdown part 2, and I managed to get mine on Saturday.
Good for you. Good for you. I know a lot of people were calling like all around town and couldn't get in anywhere, so you're all set.
I just had that weird sense. You could tell something was coming, so I booked it earlier in the week. I'm like, I don't trust where this is going. And when I was there, my hairdresser said they'd extended their hours, so they were working till like 10 o'clock at night to fit everybody in,
Wow. Well,
which
I
is
wish
crazy.
everybody the best of luck, and thank God I got my Christmas shopping done. Because I don't want to go back out there, but.
I hate you.
Yeah, good luck, Sarah. Hey, I hear Amazon is still working.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about Twitter and is Twitter dead? Because it's been around for over 10 years now, and it had its like really high time in the limelight, and then just in recent years, since the rise of Trump and the incels and everything like that, it seems to have taken on this very toxic twist. People find themselves ambushed by negative comments. There's talks of all the robots or bots that are out there trying to sway people, spread the alternative facts and the fake news or whatever you want to call it. And so I think it's turning a lot of people off when you have all these greater alternatives. And I say greater in the terms of happier, more positive, like Instagram or TikTok, like we talked about last week, right?
Exactly. Yeah, Twitter is definitely not the place it used to be. It's definitely a lot more toxic. Some brands have even abandoned Twitter altogether.
Hmm.
Costco Canada, their last tweet was essentially, "We're not responding to anything else on Twitter. Come see us on our Facebook page."
Hmm.
Um, so for brands to be using Twitter today, they really have to be conscious of the relevance of it for their brand, and to use it in a way that's going to generate hopefully positive feedback. It's great to generate conversation and some controversy. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you're trying to grow your business or make money, you want to be sure that you're putting out the right content. And some great examples of companies that do that are ones like Taco Bell, who tweeted in January of 2016. Good morning texts are cute, but have you tried bringing her Taco Bell? Or the Mars rover, a couple of years ago, posted a picture. Obviously, it's a machine, but it was able to take a picture of itself,
So
and
awesome.
it said, the tweet was "No shame in the selfie game." So you can have a lot of fun with Twitter as a brand or a company. I think you saw some really cool ones too.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a big fan of the Wendy's Twitter account. Lots of spice, lots of shade on people. Not afraid to get into it with their main competition, including McDonald's. There was this one time McDonald's, who I guess the social media team, obviously they had like these templates out for the year. So this one was labeled like Black Friday need copy and link added, and they accidentally sent it out without putting any content in it. And obviously it got like, tens of thousands of retweets. And then Wendy's just hit them back and they said, when the tweets are as broken as the ice cream machine. So people loved that. It went on to that response went on to get hundreds of thousands of tweets. And Wendy's hasn't been afraid to call out like customers either for rude behavior or inappropriate actions on Twitter and social media. So
Exactly. Like you're allowed to have some fun with it. You're allowed to, use it as a space to communicate with your customers, good and bad. And a lot of the time it is bad. Most people, when they get annoyed now, they just tweet the company because they know if they try to call or like reach out to them in other ways, they're never going to get a response. And I know from experience, in the two or three times I've had a really negative um, customer experience with a company, to tweet them, like, or to post a tweet saying I dealt with at such and such a company,
yeah.
service was terrible. you're going to get that response. And some research showed by Moritz and Evolve 24 showed that of 1,298 Twitter complaints that they looked into, they found that only 29% of those tweets were tweet gripes were replied to by the companies in question. So of nearly 1,300 Twitter complaints, only about 30% ever got a reply from the company.
Right.
So
That looks bad.
exactly. So, you've got this method of communicating with your customers. And if you're not taking advantage of that, again, you're just creating another negative experience for them where they don't feel they have anywhere to go. So if you're going to use Twitter, because a lot of companies, they get set up and they immediately set up the Facebook, the Insta, the YouTube, the Twitter without knowing whether or not they really need all these tools. So know why you're using Twitter. You don't need every single social media platform for your company. Make sure that if you're
Mhm.
going to use Twitter, it fits into your overall marketing strategy.
And so, some ways you can use Twitter to help your business. It's about growing your audience, generating new leads on potential new clients. And we talked about how you can, a lot of companies don't always reply to people, but you can save on your customer service costs because you're not paying people to sit in like a telemarketing place,
Hmm.
when you can easily handle a lot of these negative things just by responding to people on Twitter for free. And people will take Twitter complaint. So once you get that complaint, you have to reach out right away. Take the complaint offline as soon as possible because you don't want to have this whole thread exploding with a back and forth. He said, she said, he said, she said. So that's what you want to do there.
Exactly. And again, in defining how it fits into your marketing strategy, use it as a place to share product information or the status of new releases. Start building a bit of a following, or an audience leading up to a new product release with a few little hints. Coming, December 1st, this new phone or this new app or that sort of thing. And um, and and give your audience a chance to follow along and share their comments ahead of time. Use it as research information. Aside from the customer service aspect, again, you're in direct communication with potential customers. So pose questions, use polls, to get a sense of what your followers want from your product.
Yeah, I mean, this is free market research, people.
Mhm.
Big companies pay like hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars to get, kind of information that you can get for free just by throwing up a Twitter poll. So, and then just shifting away from, growing your business, you can use Twitter for your personal brand when you're, out there in the job market. You can share your ideas about your workspace and things your colleagues are working on. You can use it as kind of like a live feed of your portfolio, sharing things you've created, opinions about the direction your career is going. You can see what the competition is doing. Again, like other people are putting their stuff out there for free. So you can literally just, search up a hashtag, follow one of your favorite influencers or mentors, and be constantly exposed to their new ideas and new things they're doing.
Exactly. Like this is a perfect, sort of similar to what LinkedIn is. It's a chance to kind of highlight who you are. So take advantage of that, and make sure that your bio is well laid out. That you've got
Mhm.
links to your website or your latest posting or article or whatever you do, so that when someone sees you, they know where to find more information.
Yeah, and back to like the business aspect, like don't be afraid to engage your competition. You're not living in the silo like we talked about, like the Wendy's and McDonald's. It's like you can have like fun with like the dueling flower shops or golf courses or whatever you happen to be running. And you had something here about Grimace.
Yes. So in McDonald's, again, when it comes to the branding and being a space where you can communicate, McDonald's account right in their bio, it says Grimace runs this account.
Yeah.
And then below it, similar to, like, when Trump does a COVID tweet or whatever,
Right.
it's "This message is disputed."
Oh God, that's funny.
So, you're allowed to have some fun on Twitter. It doesn't always have to be negative, it doesn't always have to be political or, about generating an argument. There's lots of ways to create a positive, feel around your brand.
But speaking of positivity, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about, we kind of touched on at the beginning, the toxic negative side that Twitter is or can
Exactly.
become. And, that you have to be careful and kind of watch out for it, right?
Exactly. Like, be smart on Twitter. There is a very, very, very dark side to Twitter. And nothing is worse for your brand than an unfriendly Twitter war, or being inundated by bots, or just, again, those trolls out there who seek out to just destroy a brand, a person. Like, if you are a writer and you have a Twitter account and you share an article on something, it could be something great like how to bake a cake. There are people out there who will do nothing but spend their time just discrediting you and finding ways to tear you down. So
Hmm.
just be aware that when you're using Twitter, just like on Facebook or anywhere else, like, the trolls exist, but it can be extremely toxic and in some cases dangerous on Twitter, because you see these celebrities who have been, received death threats, or you get all kinds of negativity in your DMs, people sending you, like, really disturbing images or disturbing messages. So you really have to be conscious of the fact that if you're going to use Twitter, you have to be prepared for the worst. So the best thing you can do when you send out a tweet is be as honest and real as possible.
Hmm.
Make sure that it reflects who you are, and then include don't include things that will get attention, hopefully in a positive way, an image, maybe some emojis, hashtags, and a call to action, a link. So if you're releasing a new product, like this is our new line of t-shirts, then make sure you've got a picture of one of those shirts with a link to how to order them, maybe a few hashtags like holiday shirts or men's shirts, women's shirts, whatever people might be looking for, maybe a couple fun emojis, and of course the call to action.
Of course. And if you're going to tag anybody in Twitter, make sure you're tagging the right person because there's so
Yeah.
many fake accounts, especially of celebrities and stuff like that. You just want to make sure you're actually tagging the right person because then you could maybe get connected with one of those evil bots we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's definitely, don't just randomly tweet like some people who will remain nameless do.
Yeah,
The powerful people. Um, take the time to write out your tweet ahead of time. Bring out the old pencil and pen, and paper, and just write out, make a plan or type it up in your social media calendar of what you want to say. Check the links, check the tags, like you said, make sure that if you're, tagging someone, that account is real. So just go to their Twitter account, make sure they actually exist, and then post your tweet. And that way you won't be like McDonald's and forget the copy and the link. you know
yeah. Please don't be like McDonald's. Don't make draft tweets for like weeks or months in advance because you will get burned and Wendy's will call you out on it.
exactly.
So we hope you find these tips helpful. And as always, please send us your digital marketing questions. Find us at www.goldclovergroup.com and find us on social media, all the channels at Gold Clover Group.
And don't forget to catch us every Wednesday wherever you listen to your podcasts.